word from the Gospel of John that we've been reading these past Sundays. And I don't know if you've noticed, but the Gospel of John is not as easy to follow as the three synoptic Gospels. The synoptic Gospels tell us more about the life of Jesus, the miracles, the stories, the parables. John is much more theological. And in the past weeks, it's been revolving always about this relationship between I and the Father and I. And who listens to me listens to the Father. And so, but it goes deeper and deeper. It speaks about the love of God for us and our love for the Father. And today, going deeper, it speaks about a very important aspect of Christian life. How would you tell in a crowd that a person is a Christian? Can you recognize, because this is a serious question I think about more and more, and I get to be asked more and more, what's the difference of being a Christian? Or sometimes, what is the point of being a Christian? Is it to be a good person? There is a lot of people who are good people and not Christians. There are Muslims who are very good people, better than Christians. There are Buddhists who are very good people, better than Christians. They behave better, they deal with each other better, they deal in business better. So what is the point of being a Christian? Well, the Gospel of today tells us that there is something peculiar among various aspects of being a Christian. And you can tell that a person is a Christian if they have this, and it's the gift of peace. A Christian is a person who has peace within themselves. What does it mean? There are two kinds of peace. Well, many, but say two. The main one we always seek after is that of a momentary peace, some respite, some consolation. And this is what the Gospel of today calls the peace of the world, which is not bad. It is the most immediate peace that we can find, is that emergency peace we look to find in our life. So it is the kind of place, situation, that escape that we look for when we are not at peace, when we are stressed out, when we are anxious, when we are worried, when we are afraid. We look for that kind of peace. It could be anything. It could be reading a book that gives you peace, listening to music. I was asking the kids today, playing video games or watching Netflix from morning till night. This is just something that takes off our mind from whatever is giving us great anxiety. But that works only for a short while. And it's not something that just Christians do. Anyone resorts to that kind of peace. So you don't have to be a Christian to watch Netflix, to listen to music, to have a drink, to talk to a friend. This is something common. And you know, at times we misunderstand the peace that comes from Christ. There are lots of people today, maybe some of us here, who feel that peace is the absence of problems in our life. Is to forget problems, difficulties, anxieties, financial problems, emotional problems, relational problems with your kids, with your husband, with your brother-in-law, with your parents, with your friends, with your colleagues. So what we do, and we think that is spiritual or is Christian, maybe spiritual but not Christian, is to find a way to detach ourselves from reality. That is why in our bookstores today, you find plenty of books on self-help based on meditation, mainly on the teachings of Buddhism. Now, in themselves, these philosophies are not bad. So what is the very core idea of Buddhism that we follow and we feel that is something good for us as Christians? Is to go into deep meditation and to detach yourself as much as possible from your reality, so much so that in the end you get absorbed simply said, with the absolute. The nirvana is really the experience of being completely detached from my corporeality, from my being a human person with flesh and blood, and to be absorbed in the universe, in the energy of the universe. So I no longer feel the pain of my husband, of my wife, of my kids, of my work, of paying bills, of getting old, of being sick. I don't feel that anymore because I am absorbed in the absolute. That is not at all Christianity. So what is the peace that comes from Christ? It's a kind of peace in which you live your life as a priest, as a married person, as a widow, as a student, as a worker, as a father, mother. You have those difficulties that everybody else has, but you can live them in a different way. And people notice it. You go, many times I go to hospital rooms to visit people, and you can tell in the same room there are 2 people, 3, 4, 5 people. 4 of them have no peace. 1 radiates light. All of them with the same sickness, all of them with cancer. Why a person is at peace and the others are not? They have inside cancer, but one of them has inside them Christ. It makes a difference in the world. The peace of Christ comes from the fact that we are here. That is why we come to Mass, we listen to the Word of God, and we try to experience this in our life. And I want you today to welcome this peace that comes from God. To conclude this homily, I want to share with you a wonderful experience I have had when I went home. When I went home, I celebrated several funerals in my parish, and one of them was the most beautiful funeral I have celebrated in my life. Actually, one of the happiest masses I have celebrated in my life as a priest or as a Christian. There were thousands of people, I don't know, 2,000 or 3,000 people in church, actually inside the church, below the church, outside the church with mega screens. There were thousands of people for this funeral. There were 10 priests. It was a weekday, so everyone took a leave from work just to be there. And it was the funeral of Emanuele Dezio, a boy of 13 years of age, who died of brain cancer. He's the son of my contemporary Fabio. We grew up together, and Caterina. They are a couple, they are 42. And their son was diagnosed with brain cancer since he was very small. And so they battled with cancer for so many years. And the father was saying during the Mass, there were times I cannot even imagine, even if I try my very best, I'm not a father, so I will never understand. I'm not a mother, so I cannot even get close to understanding what kind of pain a mother or a father may experience seeing your son slowly die. I cannot, it's just something too sacred. And you know that he's dying. So Fabio, the father, was saying, we pray together with all our kids and my wife every day. We started praying, Lord, please heal our son. And Emanuele was praying with us, let's pray for healing. And then at a certain point, we understood that God didn't want to give us healing. And we started praying for peace, for acceptance. And he said, quite frankly, on the altar that day, there were days in which I just couldn't take it. It was too much for me. I couldn't pray. And my son, who was still walking, used to come to my room and drag me out with my wife and say, Father, let us pray. God will help us. My son was pulling me out and telling me, Father, let us pray. So at his funeral, the father of Emanuele read a note this child wrote just before dying. And I conclude with this note, this homily. on what it means to be a Christian, what it means to have peace in the midst of all kinds of trials. He says, I am happy because the Lord helped me and took off my mask. That is, He gave me the possibility to choose if to be weak or strong in my muscles. Jesus asked me, do you like to be strong or weak? We have to be strong in the soul, in our will, in our courage, in our faith, in our love. Muscles and the body are only an earthly thing, and we should not be too attached to it. We have already won. Christ has destroyed death. He gave ways to heaven, and the gates of heaven are wide open for us. There is a place reserved for each one of us. We must only do a few steps to get into it. For this, I am happy. I am happy because the Lord has already given me a cross. My wheelchair, He couldn't move anymore any of these muscles. All of us will have to have crosses. We will have to suffer and do sacrifice to help others. We must do as Simon of Cyrene did, who helped Jesus to carry His cross. And for this, I am very happy. There were thousands of people, and there was an incredible sense of peace in death, in suffering. So I ask you to tell the Lord in this Mass, let me experience your peace in whatever gives me anxiety today. Let me find my peace in you, Lord.